Hello, I'm Jamie.
Hello, I'm Mark, and it's time for another episode of Through the Garden Gate. We've obviously got the noisy dog Dash here as per usual, wanting me to throw his toy, so obviously there'll be the usual Dash noise going on. I'm obviously still inside because I'm not going down the garden because it's wet and muddy now. Let's get Jamie in. Hello.
Good evening.
Feel very out of sorts doing this down here.
Well, you should be used to it. You've done it enough the last few days.
I know, but this is different because it's through the garden gate. So it's like I was like getting ready, and then I was like, "Oh, I haven't got any of my books or anything with the questions and stuff in it." So I was like, running around the house trying to find stuff.
I'll tell you what I just noticed. I don't know whether it's the same with you, but at the beginning, I used to be getting ready at about 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Like, get my chair there, got my put the phone ready and get. But now I was sitting and watching TV and went, oh, 7:29. And I just came through here, prop my phone out. Oh, there he is, boom, and it's done. It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a completely different like procedure to what we used to being inside. Getting down in the garden, getting the tripod set up and lights on and all the rest of it. But
Yeah.
it's a bit of an enormity at the moment.
Where's the boy?
He's upstairs being crazy.
No more George then.
Yeah.
How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Apart from the garden being flooded, but it is what it is. Haven't seen it since it's defrosted. But it was pretty frosty at the weekend. It's been like an ice rink.
Yeah. I saw George crunching it all.
Yeah.
I was expecting to go up over his wellies at any second.
I'm amazed he didn't, to be honest.
Yeah.
All over and hurt himself, but yeah, we've all avoided falling over because last year I fell over on the ice and hurt my shoulder.
Yeah.
So I've been extra careful not to do that again because it was not fun. Evening,
Hey,
Dan.
Dan. Yeah. I don't be doing none of that falling over business, but much chance of that because I ain't doing it.
No. So you've been out. I've seen you outside.
I've been out, yeah. I keep, I go for a good walk every day. Right, so my routine: I get up, have some breakfast, and I go down the horse field with Teresa, and I walk round while she's mucking out. Obviously, I can't do it, but I just use that as my exercise. I walk around. So that's about 3/4 of an hour. I come back, sit down, watch a bit of TV, read a bit of a book, and then later on in the afternoon we go for a walk around the village. That's it. I have to walk. I have to keep walking. I'm now getting up to an hour a day easy. I can do more, but I just got to do it gradually.
Don't want to push it.
No, that's it. That's all I do at the minute.
I was wincing watching the story of you trying to get into your greenhouse with the spade, thinking,
You're
should you
not
be
the
doing that?
only one. There's so many people, you wouldn't believe it, that told me off. Really properly told me off, saying, you shouldn't be reaching up there with that spade. I said, well, it's a long spade. I wasn't reaching. No, but you shouldn't be doing it. I hadn't been in there for about 3 weeks. I want to have a look.
I expect a messy garden, or is it a messy allotment here? She'll have been telling you off.
She did. She did. She was one of the first ones. She probably told me off. Yeah, thank you.
Like, I can't open the gate, but I'm going to use a spade to knock a bolt open.
But come on, it was one of them little shiny trowel things, and I just knocked my little bolt thing over. That's all. It's hard. It's really hard not to do things. So you imagine not doing anything with your arms all day.
It'd be horrendous. It'd be absolutely awful. You'd just constantly feeling like you were useless.
That is what I feel like. It's just
because you got
things like putting a log on the fire and stuff.
Yeah,
I can't reach.
Boiling a kettle, putting water in a kettle. Yeah, just
too heavy. Too heavy. Not for long. What am I now? So I've been home 14th today. I've been home for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Came home on the 1st. So it's ticking away quite nicely.
Be March before you know it.
Will be much fun. I had a letter from the cardiac rehabilitation people saying, do I want to book onto their exercise thing? And I said, yeah, I'll do it. If you want me to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So in February, I'll start going to some, I don't know where, in a hospital, I suppose, and doing some funny exercise and things. But I'll do whatever it is to get me going as quick as possible.
Will you be driving by then? Or would you still have
I'm not allowed to. They said I'm allowed to drive after 5 weeks,
so
or was it
yeah.
4 weeks? I can't remember, 4 or 5 weeks.
Mm. So you might be able to drive yourself there then by
Yeah,
then. Middle of
possibly. Yeah, we'll see. One step at a time. I'm doing all right. It's quite boring, but it is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. So there's no point moaning.
no. Definitely not.
No, I've been measuring my greenhouse polytunnel spaces today.
Yeah.
I've got a tape measure out, and I measured where they're going, and they're all going to fit nicely. So I know where they're going.
So you need
Just
to
need to
knock
get
it down.
someone to.
Are you going to get somebody to take it down for you?
Yeah, I can't do that until way into March. So I need to get someone to get all that down, cleared and flat, and then going. Joe, I was talking to Joe the other day, and she said that she wants me to do a proper full plan of the garden. I haven't done any of it yet. Sorry. I'm going to do exactly what you did today, or today or yesterday. I'm going to get all my seeds out and go through all them. That's my next project. I'll probably start that tomorrow. Go through all them, see what I've got and what I haven't got, and then
And what you need to get?
I did. Teresa went into town yesterday. I said, "Oh, can you pop into B&Q and get me some seed sowing compost?" So I might, if I possibly can, I might be able to sow some chilies. I'll get her to lift the bag and stuff, but I might just be able to sow some chilies.
Or if she filled you up some trays, you can just put the seeds in and sprinkle some compost on top.
Exactly. I can sprinkle like fairy dust. That's all right. That's no big deal like
Yeah. Do some wonky lines of chilies.
that. Hey, what have you been doing at work this week? Not a lot, by the looks of it.
Chipping. I've been doing chipping today, trying to
Oh yeah,
clear
of
some of
course.
the
Yeah,
piles
yeah.
that I did this morning. Yesterday, what was I doing yesterday? Going through applications yesterday. Spent quite a bit of time going through applications for the job.
Is that getting any closer?
We've got a short list of maybe 5 or 6 people, so we'll see what goes from there. Whether any of those are suitable,
Yeah.
we'll have conversations with them all and see where we go. But yeah, we're not, we're not hurrying too quickly. If we get somebody in for February, March time, just as it starts to warm up, that would be perfect. So,
Yeah.
quite quiet at the moment. And especially if we carry on with frosty weather, it limits what you can do.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're on it, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have somebody sorted. So I'm not stuck on my own.
Mm.
But I've been to collect some pallet collars today.
More.
Yeah, because I could only fit 10 in my car yesterday, so I had to go back for the other 10 today. So I've now got 20 pallet collars to rebuild my veg garden with.
Yeah.
So that'll make 8 double height beds, which
Yeah. You're going
should,
to say
with
you're
the
going
other
to
stuff
screw them
I've already
together
got.
so they're double height.
Yeah, well, they just sit on top of each other because they've got the corner bits. They literally just fold them out and they're a bed. So it just cuts all of that messing around having to build beds. So they're amazing.
I've never used them, to be honest. So the corners are there to interlock with another one,
Yeah.
are they?
So they're literally like 4 pieces of wood,
Oh.
2 short sides, 2 long sides,
Yeah.
with hinged corners. So you just fold them out into a rectangle, and then you can put another one straight on top. So
Does that lock
yeah,
in, or do you still put you don't have to screw it together or
no,
anything?
they've got like a curve on the metal so that it sits on and locks in.
Oh, perfect.
So it just makes everything simpler.
Yeah. No, I've never used them. I just normally get scaffold boards.
Yeah, exactly, which is what I've usually done. But then I've got to screw them all together and cut them and all the rest of it.
Mm.
These are literally ready-made beds, and they've cost me very little. So
Mm.
real nice thing to find and get, knowing that as soon as that's drains, I can really crack on.
Yeah.
And then the other news that we've had this week, which we should talk about, is the plant
We
grow
should.
news.
We should,
That we are
definitely.
now both plant grow champions,
We are.
which will help me massively with a supply of some nice plant grow, so that I might get produce like yours.
Well, that'd be good to see, won't it? Because we know you've struggled with a few things, and mine have gone crazy, like the
Yeah.
the squashes and things. We've seen that for 2 years.
So
That would be good
really
to
prove.
see. So next
Yeah,
year,
yeah, I'll concentrate on, if I get some plant grow stuff, I'll literally fill beds with plant grow and grow my squash in those, and then maybe put some squash in previous beds to see the growing difference of the two.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, your veg garden speaks for itself. I've seen it in the flesh,
Yeah,
and if that's what
it's
plant grow does,
crazy, and it gets. But mine has been plant grow from day one, hasn't it? It was a grass field, and it's been plant grow all the way through. So there's nothing else in there to make it think of anything else is helping it.
no, and you don't feed it or anything like that. You just top up with the plant grow every
Don't
week.
feed at all. Nothing. The only thing I feed is my tomatoes, but I I might even try not this year because my greenhouse beds haven't been plant grow. They've just been original soil topped up with compost,
Yeah,
but not plant grow. So I've fed them. But this year, my new ones are going to be, I'm going to fill the whole lot up with plant grow compost. So see how they go. Might not even have to feed them.
are you going to have raised beds in your polytunnels as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right down each side and one at the end. So just a big U shaped.
yeah. So they'll all be plant grow as well then.
I've had I've had a visit from Plant Grow today, and I was given an award,
Ooh.
2024 Champion of the Year.
Oh wow, you were
I
the most.
generated the most sales.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's just it's. I bought Plant Grow to start with, as
Yeah,
for my, and I've known people here. Alan Gray, who's a big influence of mine over in Norwich, where he's used it for years and years, and that's why I did it, and that's why I bought it,
yeah,
and that's why they asked me, and it's rolled like that because
yeah.
it's such an amazing product.
Yeah, and more people have been using it from your recommendations as well. Jenny will
Exactly.
give
Yeah.
away, and
Well, yeah.
Avril said that
Exactly.
she uses it. So,
Yeah. So
and I
many
use
people.
it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely good stuff. As a filling of beds, not as a seed compost or anything like
Thanks,
that,
Avril.
but as a proper like a multi-purpose compost,
That's
it's good.
the thing. Yeah. It's you can't use it as seed compost. Well, you can, but it's like any multi-purpose compost. It's no good. It's too big. You don't get the seeds don't touch it enough to make a decent germination rate.
And it's very rich as well, isn't it? Because it is such good stuff for
I
seeds.
did have a go last year and I sieved some and it worked all right, but it's just hard
Yeah.
work, isn't it? Trying to sieve enough.
It'd be nice further down the line if they started doing a seed compost, because I think it'd be a
Mm,
game changer for the
yeah,
seed compost as well.
I suppose they just have to they could get big old mechanical sieves and sieve it down more beforehand.
Yeah,
I
or
presume.
yeah,
I don't really know their process.
no, and maybe let it rot down a bit more, because theirs it's very quick, isn't it? Their whole process is like 12 weeks.
Yeah, the the actual mulch is what comes out of the digester, isn't it? That's after the you know processed it and took the gas off.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
it is.
Right, enough of plant grow. Who we got tonight? I can't even remember who they are.
So tonight's guests. are the host of a gardening podcast. They both are allotmenteers, one living in London, one in Southampton, one a saint, one a gooner. One of them loves coffee. Let's get them in. It's Chay and Laura from Allotment Diaries podcast. It's also the first time we've ever had two people joining the live that weren't in the same place, so this could go wrong.
Yeah.
So we're going to have 4 squares again, like the old days.
Yeah, it hasn't happened for a long time. That's what.
There's-
Hello.
Can we get...
I bet Chase isn't going to work, is it? I bet any money.
Yeah, he won't show up.
He is.
Oh,
Oh,
Something's happened.
got 4 squares.
Yay!
Yes, I made it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Where
yeah.
have you been?
Oh, I had to change my setting on my phone to allow for Instagram Live because this is the first time I've ever used this.
Wow.
Really?
How are you guys doing?
Really good,
Yeah,
thank you.
good. Not bad. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Jamie, it's nice to see you, and you haven't gone towards the light. It's really good to see you, mate. Looking healthy as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And likewise, Mark, as well.
I've actually got light, unlike the last time we spoke.
I know. That was the funniest situation ever. Laura, were you ever there? Did you ever see that? So
No.
we, when we chatted to Mark on the podcast, I think you were in your greenhouse or polytunnel
In
or
the
something like that.
Yeah.
And through the evening, he progressively disappeared because of the daylight. And when we finished, I think it was just pitch black. Fortunately, I took an image snap of that and posted it. I'll share it with you.
To be honest, in the early days, halfway through the night, Mark was always in the dark. You could hardly even see him. Most podcasts we done, you couldn't even see he was there most of the time.
Especially on the one when we had Arthur Parkinson on, and I was just a hat in the darkness.
You need to. You're an influencer now. You need one of those ring lights, a little portable one with your
Oh yeah, well, them
phone
posh
on it.
ones.
Shay's got one of them. I just saw his setup a minute ago.
Yeah,
Shay's got a
embarrassingly,
ring light.
I do have a ring light. You might have seen it when the camera was pointed the other way around to start with. Yeah, I mean, look, I kept on saying it was my wife's makeup light, but I've just now come to a comfortable situation where I'm just saying it's
Just
mine.
admit it. Just admit it.
It's my ring light. It's my vanity light. Yeah. Yeah.
How's Tricks then?
Yeah, we're
Janitor.
good. We're good. Yeah, I really hope you guys don't ask too much questions about the allotment because there really is not much to talk about.
Come on.
We haven't really brained it that much apart from creating bird tables, and I think that's it. I think I listened to a little bit where you were saying, Jamie, that tomorrow you might start your seeds. I think I might take some inspiration from that and start that as well.
Yeah, just a few chilies, I think, and aubergines, and that's it. Nothing else. Not like all these people doing tomatoes, like him up there.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is that I really take my motivation from the Instagram really because I get flooded with pictures of people sewing. So then I'm thinking, oh crikey, I need to get on the bandwagon and I start sewing. I really haven't seen too many people sewing. So yeah, if my plants don't really grow this year, I'm blaming the whole of the Instagram gardening community for not encouraging me.
Yeah.
That is the thing about Instagram, though, isn't it? You do see people and think, "Oh, shall I? Shan't I?" But
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm not starting tomatoes for another probably 6 weeks, I'd imagine.
That's because Catherine's doing them for you. Everybody's going to take pity on you this year. Anything that you need that you haven't done will just turn up at your door. Like, here you go.
Nice.
That's worth open heart surgery, Mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Jamie, after your procedure, how much has that limited you from gardening, or are you now sort of back on the mend? I listened to your previous episode, and you were pretty much, I think, towards the end. I said, I think I'm done. I can't roll over.
Yeah.
Are you still are you still at that stage, or are you now
Oh, yeah, I'm
mobile?
still like it. It's see the problem is it's not the heart. The heart's fixed. As soon as they change it, it's fixed. That's no problem there
Yeah,
at all. It's the cut in the sternum that they had to do to open me out. So that's all the bone, the muscles, and everything is fixing. So that's the problem. So I've
right.
got to be really careful. I'm not even really allowed to reach out of what they said to me is pretend you're in a big cardboard tube going down your body. So don't reach out of that cardboard tube because every time you reach out,
Right.
that just puts pressure on opening the chest up. So I'm
Jeez.
going to be like that for another 3 or 4 weeks probably.
Oh, okay. You're all right. Much better than 3 or 4 months. So you should hopefully be back sooner than later.
Well, total, I think I'll be back at work by mid-March.
Right.
Wow.
Fingers crossed. So that will be a total of 3 months off. Yeah,
Hmm. Well, yeah. I mean,
but it is
in
what it
terms of
is.
timing, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, in terms of timing, I think you couldn't have timed the operation in a better situation because you'll be mobile and fit and healthy for the precise start of the growing season. Um,
Perfect. Yeah,
All
and
for
to be
the
honest, that's what
program.
I asked for. I asked exactly
did
for that,
you?
and my surgeon said, yeah. He said, okay, we'll do it because of my work. It was my work as well. My work tails off over the winter a little bit, and
Mm,
obviously with the Christmas break as well. So I thought the best time to have it would be over Christmas and the latter end of the winter, and it's
yeah.
worked out fine. Yeah. So
So you're
can't
basically a
can't.
dog with one of those collars on at the moment.
So I can't lick my wounds.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a thought.
Something like that. Yes, Mark. Thank you. Listen. Well, anyway, it's not about me. We're talking about you two. What should we talk about? Should we talk about a podcast first or the allotments first?
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about both. I mean, yeah, I mean, we've got quite a lot of things in common, haven't we? From podcasts to allotments to
Yeah,
gardening and growing.
we have.
So
I can
how
remember
did your
listening to your podcast on day one.
oh crikey,
Uh,
yeah, I still remember day one. I don't know whether you found it, but it was literally the most nerve-wracking thing ever. And I think, Amy and I, we went with the idea that if one person was listening by 1 week, I think we would deem that a success
Yeah.
and would carry
that was
on.
me.
Um, that was it. Thank you. You're the reason why we're still here. Um, yeah, and I think in the first week we had like 12 people listen, and we were like, that's a result.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we've continued, and now Laura is firmly on the ship of Allotment Diaries podcast. So how did you guys find it? Your first episode?
Well, I think I just said before you came on that when we
Mm.
first started, I was running around at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night, getting ready and doing this and doing that and finding my bits of paper and things like that. But this literally, I got up, I looked at my watch, 7:29. I went, oh, three. So I'm just going to pop through there and go on because it just doesn't register anymore. It's so natural now. It doesn't. There's no stress. There's nothing. It's just I enjoy it so much, and that's it.
Mm.
It just there's no stress at all.
And it was never,
100,
we never, when
100%.
we started, it wasn't necessarily a podcast. It was just us three going live, having a chat. And there was I don't think there was ever any aspirations to be a podcast. But then as it
No.
went on, we decided, let's do it as a podcast as well to open it, to more people that want to retrospectively listen back as an audio form.
Mm.
Nice.
Mm.
Mm.
And it's
I
worked
mean,
out quite well, hasn't it? There's lots of people listen to it on the podcast.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I've got to take my hat off to you guys. I mean, you're very brave doing an Instagram live, and the thought of me. I mean, the fact that this is the first time ever in the history of Instagram that I've had going on an Instagram live. I mean, the fact that you guys have jumped ship straight away hats off to you. And how did you find the integration between going live and the podcast? Was it quite easy?
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, it's just the same. Other than
Same
Exactly the
format.
same. We
edit
just
a few bits
there's
out.
edit a few of my swear words out, maybe. But that's it. There's no major editing, is there, Mark? You
Not
just
really, no.
tart it up a little bit.
Yeah, put the beginning and the ends on, and off it goes into podcast land. So, how's it been for you, Laura? Joining an existing podcast.
I know it's a really strange way to enter into the situation of joining a podcast, because I feel like I've got some really big shoes to fill before, you can take into consideration being nervous or finding your feet. So,
I think
but
you're
really, I mean, it's.
fine, Laura. Amy was on his size 3. So,
All right, though, I'm
Nice that
fine then. I'm
joke.
a 5.
okay, well,
Yeah,
you've already
I
filled
think.
it.
Yeah, and a bit. But, yeah, I think that actually I've been quite lucky talking with Shay. It's just like talking with a friend, so it doesn't really feel taxing. It's just like having a chat, being on the phone with someone, although it's just recorded. So it's been a really nice positive experience, and also I feel like it keeps me a bit accountable because every time we log on, Shay goes, "What have you done this week?" And I think, "Oh my God, what have I done this week?" So actually it's probably doing me some good just getting some tasks done, just so that when Shay asks I can go, right, I had my seeds out and I've come up with a plan, even if I haven't actually got up there. So yeah, it's been positive. Thanks.
I think that definitely tended to be Shay's initial words to Amy on every single one.
Exactly. What have you done? Uh, no, it's. Do you know what? One of the things I think I never really realized when I went into the world of podcasting was the fact the skills that you end up developing instinctively and the sort of the confidence that you build through just talking to strangers, talking to guests, talking to people, and then, like you said, Jamie, like just naturally just going on at
Mm,
7:29 and just busting out a podcast episode is just
yeah.
bit unheard of from episode 1, like you were saying when you logged on an hour and a half before preparing yourself. So
Definitely.
it really develops your confidence and I guess your public speaking as well. And I think it's
Yeah.
really good.
Mm.
The only problem I find sometimes is my gardening knowledge is not as good as some of our guests or well, Laura. So I struggle to sometimes keep up. So I will be normally on the shows trying to ask the questions as opposed to give the answers or opinions.
But Shay, you've never, right from day one, you've never ever proclaimed to be a professional gardener or anything. That's what I think was so good, that it was two new gardeners chatting about their story, and I think that's what it was.
Mm,
That hooked me originally.
It's
yeah,
relatable, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think it makes a big, sometimes you do have like a lot of things where people have already been there, done that, got the t-shirts. So it's quite nice to hear when other people like you, when you're at the beginning of your gardening journey, are failing along with you. And uh, there is a thing about making your own mistakes and learning from them, because it's nice
Definitely.
that other
mm,
people can give you pointers and you can take them on board, but sometimes it's nice to understand why that's not going to work, and actually doing it and then going, oh yeah, that really didn't make sense because of whatever. So I think that's something that's quite nice when, there's no expectation. We're not pretending that we're experts in any way, shape, or form.
No.
And as
mm.
we're going, we get to learn along as well, which is nice. So it just, all round, it's quite relaxed, really.
Yeah, and that's what you want it. I think I was just about to say, and you saying about it being relaxed. I know a few people who do podcasts, and it's completely scripted.
Mm.
Me and Mark have spoke about it. Do you have a script? Because Mark and I don't have a single script. Sometimes we don't talk to each other from week to week. 7:30 to 7:30 the next Tuesday, and then we're back on again. So it's not a single script at all.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
we've said, oh, we've pre-recorded like an intro and outro, and we came up with what we were going to say, but that was off the cuff kind of thing. And then if we are going to have some questions, they're normally maybe 15-20 minutes before, where we just go, okay, this is what we're going to ask. So it's not maybe just some pointers, but we don't really have a script as such, do we?
No, I think initially when we began the podcast journey a few years ago, I was thinking about the script, but then to multitask, try to read a script or memorize a script whilst trying to maintain a sense of being normal and speaking to people is quite difficult. So you end up just being a newscast reader. So
Yeah,
I kind of deviated away from that, and I think it's just quite nice to have a loose conversation because that's when you get the best kind of conversation as well, rather than premeditated discussions.
yeah, definitely.
And
Which is exactly what
Yeah,
we.
and also it's so hard. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes behind what you guys do and what we do. There is the setting up, the organizing, the editing, the releasing, the advertising, to promoting, and then if you then add additional thing of writing up a script to then try to memorize it and read it, it's just you're just not making it fun.
No, and that's the reason why we do it. Really, it's fun. It's fun for us. We enjoy it, and hopefully, some of the guests that we get, or all the guests we get, other people like hearing about them as well. That is it. That's the main thing. And
Mm.
Definitely.
learning. I've learned so much in this last. How many we done, Mark? 72,
Wow.
73,
This is episode number 71.
71.
Wow, you guys have overtaken us. I think we've
We'll
52 episodes, but yeah, but you guys are very consistent.
we're
We
weekly. Yeah, we do every
we're,
week.
we're yeah we're fortnightly, and then there was a couple of months where we took a break and bits and pieces. So yeah, we are trying to maintain some sense of consistency now going forward. But yeah, you guys are very very machine-like, very consistent, which is great.
Yeah, Tuesday evenings are wiped out in my life now, and Teresa is now coming round to that thinking as well. Don't ever book anything in on Tuesday night. But saying that,
Uh,
I have done it in a couple of weird places. Done it in the middle of a woods once, I think, and done it in a pub. And
oh wow.
Oh, pub sounds
Have
great.
you? Yeah, I mean, have you actually done it in the garden or on the allotment?
yeah, definitely. So when it's through the summer, we're always outside. But that was the idea of it originally, Mark, wasn't it? That we go through the guest garden gate, so they would just walk us around their garden or their allotment and talk about it. But obviously, in the winter, you can't, so you just have to
Mm.
sit and chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually. So, what's the meaning behind it through the garden gate? Is it just simply because you're allowing your listeners and your viewers through the garden gate, essentially?
Yeah, that's what the original plan was. There was no plan for the winter really. When we first
Mm.
started doing it, we were like, "Oh, we'll do this, and we'll go live,
Didn't
we'll
even
see
think
some
about it, did
stars."
we?
And then we'd start. When did we start? We started quite late, didn't we? It must have been like
August, I think, wasn't it? I
August.
think it was August.
So we got like six weeks down the line, and we were like, "Hang on a minute, we're running out of daylight here. What are we going to do now? How are we going to carry this on?"
Oh,
Yeah, so
So
we
then we
Did you
just
have
decided.
started having chats.
did you have another name that you were going to run with? Because I did, and I'll tell you which one I was going to go with until this one went.
No,
Did you have another one?
it's always through the
Always
garden
through
gate.
the garden gate.
Uh, okay. So
Well,
if it wasn't going to be Allotment Diaries podcast, it was going to be Top of the Plots.
Top of the
oh,
plot.
I'm so glad. Honestly, I don't think anyone would have taken us seriously if I went, you're listening to Top of the Plots. Um, yeah, but we did a poll, and in the end, it was the one that we are with that won it, fortunately.
I'm saying
Thank
thank
goodness.
God for that poll.
it's a great name. I love your name. It's brilliant.
Otherwise, Laura definitely wouldn't have joined if it was called that.
Top of the
No,
plot.
Top of the
top of the plot.
But then maybe with it would maybe it's like a name that grows on you. So maybe over time we'll be like, oh yeah, top of the plot.
Top of
I'm trying to
the
imagine
You'd have
plot.
to do
that.
like a
Possibly.
countdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's quite niche to a certain a genre of age, isn't it? Because there are going to be a lot of people, the younger, youthful
Haven't
generation,
got a
who may
clue what
not
you're talking
have
about.
no idea what you're talking about. Um, and yeah, so top of the top of the plot. I'm glad that we didn't go with that.
But it also sounds like that would be a competition every time we would it. Who's the top of the plot this week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good. Good. Now, Allotment Diaries podcast is a fantastic name.
Thank you, thank you. So, 71, sorry, 71 episodes?
Yep, this is number 71.
Wow,
Incredible.
that's incredible. And how long do you think you all guys will carry on? Do you have an
Indefinite.
idea? Indefinite.
Indefinite.
Yeah, definitely. Never been any talk about stopping it or anything.
Mm,
Well, as long as
It's
people
because we
listen to
enjoy it.
yeah, we enjoy it. People watch it. Why not
yeah.
carry on? We meet so many new people that and guests that we've had on that you never expect to get on. I mean, you guys are the same. Some of the guests you guys have had, you pinch yourself at who you get. I mean, that old guy that you had on a few weeks ago was amazing. Was it?
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and he actually just reached out to us and just emailed and said, look, sometimes it's a bit. I mean, the thing what we don't do is we don't really do a kind of a sound check, or we don't test. We don't. I don't speak to the guests beforehand to make sure they that English is their first language and they're not really going to struggle. So honestly, sometimes when we have the guests, it's the first time we meet. Well, it is always the first time we meet them genuinely.
Yeah.
So I'm always for the first two minutes, I'm like with apprehension, going, "Please be normal. Please be okay. Please be okay. Please be."
Let's take this show somewhere.
And I've never been disappointed. Every single person has been incredible. And I think we'll continue with that format because I think it ruins the surprise for us as well if we were to
Yeah.
have a
Yeah,
pre-recorded meeting and then afterwards have another meeting as well, a
I
chat.
think the other
So are
good
you straight in? Oh, sorry, Laura. Go
so
on.
I was just gonna say I think the other good thing is that all our because of that all our reactions are genuine. Like every reaction you hear or see that we're as surprised as whoever's listening at the time. Because it's completely new to us as well because we genuinely don't know these people.
Mm.
I was going to say, do you, when they come in, is it recording there and then, or do you have a minute or two and then say, right, I'm now going to press record?
Yeah, we have probably a couple of minutes. It's just an overview of the format of the the show, saying, "Look, this is what we're going to do. Press record," and then and then we'll stop it. But do you have any questions? Yeah, it's just a little bit of intro, probably about a couple of minutes, if that.
I do know this, obviously, because I've been on, so has Mark, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to say.
You're testing us. Um,
Well, we just porkies.
yeah, but the way you guys do it is quite nice actually because it allows, I think, myself and Laura to sit there, kind of assess you guys and chatting to each other, and then it sort of prepares us for the chat
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you can get on.
yeah. That's always been the way, isn't it, Mark? We just always have a 10 minutes chat between us, and if George is about, he comes and has gives us a few words and his little comment of the week or whatever he calls it, and it's brilliant. And then once we're done, we pull the guests in.
Nice.
Yeah, George is going to be a star in the making. I love the segments and where George is in. Uh, I was hoping George would be here tonight. Have you ever had Five Spring?
No.
You can't.
Pause the maximum.
Pause the max on Instagram.
Uh,
So why
it's
did
great.
you start the podcast then?
I started the podcast because quite a few years ago there wasn't actually that many allotment specific podcasts, and it it started as a bit of a joke between Amy and I, saying, I think we could do it. Let's shall we release one, see how that goes, and then we released it. It received positive comments, and then we then decided to do another one, and it continued. And 52 episodes later, here we are.
Fantastic. And here we are
Yeah,
now with Laura, your new co-host.
I know.
I know. You may have noticed our artwork and our graphic on our Instagram has just ramped up a bit because previously my very amateur skill set was not very good. I think Laura's really brought that into the mix.
Ooh, don't know.
Laura's taken over.
I was
It's a
like,
lot
what?
more polished.
I was thinking, what can I actually do something to help? Because I feel like at the moment I'm just riding on Shay and Amy's success. So I was like, can I do something? And then I was like, okay, I'm sure I can figure out, Canva, and I can put some things together. And then poor Shay gets these voice notes from me where I'm like, I had a thought, and can we try this? And then usually he doesn't reply straight away, so I get on and do it anyway. And then partway through, we kind of have a
Mm,
discussion on different things. But I just wanted to try and pull my weight a little bit, try and make it valid that I'm actually here. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it continues. Maybe
yeah,
get better.
that's that's one thing I've it's taken a bit of time adjusting is Laura's voice notes. So you send her a message, you type it out, "Hi Laura, how are you?" And he comes back with a voice note. "I'm very well, thanks." I mean, I'm joking there slightly, but it's similar.
He's
It's it's a
he's
response with
joking.
a voice note.
It is. I'm a fan of the voice note. It's because of the baby. I say baby. She's one now, and she is
Oh my
just
God.
you cannot take you can't. I mean, not that babies are ever trustworthy, but in comparison to my son, she will look for the quickest way to die. So you can't really message. So poor Shay gets me probably with a baby in the background screaming, me trying to voice note, trying to multitask, because if I was actually just stop and be texting, then yeah, she probably would have died by now. So that's the reason for the voice notes. Um,
Yeah. But the impracticalities of a voice note when you've got a full-time job, it's pretty much you have to get the phone, go out the office, put your headphones on, and listen to someone say, "I'm very well, thank you. How are you?"
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, continue with your voice notes, Laura. It's actually quite nice.
I
Makes a change from using your
I
fingers.
actually did think the other day. I was like, maybe I should dabble in a bit of like speech to text, and then see how I get on with that. But
Oh
then I
yeah,
run the risk
yeah.
of being auto corrected, and I know that Shay would share it. So we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, maybe I'll switch it up.
Can't
Yeah,
wait for to see what the autocorrect says.
yeah.
Oh
I
wow!
think it'll be
I
good.
noticed that there's a comment box. Do people write? Oh my goodness, yeah, they do. They're engaging with
Yep.
us. This is incredible.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm like a complete child with this because this is the
Oh,
first time. So do you guys engage with the people commenting?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
people
yeah,
have
definitely. That's
questions.
that's the whole idea. They can ask questions. I'll either put it in the comments, or I do like it in that little comment box at the bottom. The question, you see the question mark, because they stay
Hmm.
there, and if you get lots of people going through the comments, they disappear sometimes. So
oh,
there is one
that's
in there
good.
now,
Mm.
isn't there? Have you
Um,
started growing anything yet, Laura?
or yes, kind of. I've got some pear trees that for the past 2 days I've been saying I'm going to pot up, and I haven't done it. So they're still growing in some kitchen towel at the moment. And today I looked at them and thought they're getting, they're almost established plants now. It's amazing that they're still alive. So instead, I've taken them out of the Ziploc bag they were in, and I've put them in a cup, and then put the Ziploc bag over the top. And I feel like that is progress, but they're not in soil. So maybe tomorrow. But other than that, no. I was actually before we joined the live. I was going through seeds, trying to think about what I can kind of get going and then make a start maybe next week, because obviously this is my first year starting off with a greenhouse. So
Mm.
I have a very steep learning curve ahead of
Oh,
me, I'm sure.
you're going to love it. You're going to love it.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I'm quite lucky because I'm down south. I get much more mild weather than everywhere else. So that in itself does make things a bit easier. But yeah, it's still very new to me. So yeah, do you guys ever get any ideas on things that I'm doing wrong or pointers? Please let me know because I will be making a lot of mistakes. I'm sure of it.
We'll do. We all have, and we all will. So don't worry about it.
You don't
I know
learn
one
if you
thing,
don't make
Laura, that you haven't been growing. That's your quails, because you've still not got them.
Don't. It's a really sore. It's a really sore subject in this house because my son is devastated. Every now and then he goes, "So how many followers have you got?" I'm like, "Not enough, not enough followers." So no quails, and Adam he's he would be the one buying them. So unless I get to, it was 3,000, wasn't it? 3,000
3,000,
followers.
yeah.
It's not happening. But when it does happen, it's going to be magnificent. All you're going to see is all of these quails with hats on and all sorts of different stuff, you know. But at the moment,
Quail's drinking coffee. I think that's what we're going to see.
it.
yeah, yeah, maybe coffee quail art on the top of a latte. Who knows? I mean, Mark sent me the most horrendous. It was awful. It was so bad, but I was like, so I'll tell you about it. It's a video in a really dirty looking cafe where they say, "I want a cup of Joe," and this really greasy, filthy man comes out and pours water over himself, which then runs off coffee coloured, and then they catch it in a cup, in a coffee
Mug.
jar mug thing. They've got the dispenser, and then pour it into the cup, and then these two people have to then drink it. And Mark was like, "Would you drink it there?" And I was like,
Oh my
"Probably."
God.
I mean,
I'm sure they must have been getting paid for it.
I mean, it's obviously it's just a spoof, but it is. I did look at it, and I did think, oh, it's kind of a bit like, have you heard about, KFC's gravy?
Yeah, oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, it's
It's
best just not
delicious.
knowing. It's great. Just don't look into it.
Well, that was on that. They had a TV program about it. They told you exactly how they made it, with all the grease and the bits at the bottom.
I mean, yeah, but I mean that's why it's so tasty, probably. But just yeah, just that video really did. I was like, where is this going?
Well,
So,
I sort of
Oh.
sat there with, watching it on my phone with my mouth open, going, "This is really bad, but really funny at the
actually
same
send
time."
this to Laura.
Yeah, it's got to go to Laura because Laura's obsessed with coffee. So who else?
Love a coffee. Love a
So,
coffee.
so can I just ask, Laura, what's the benefit of having quails? What do
Oh,
they
sorry.
produce?
Eggs.
So, well, you get quail
You
eggs.
get
They they
eggs.
they
Right.
don't need a lot of space. So a lot of people keep quails in, say, rabbit hutches, because they're quite
Hmm.
small. And really, the whole thing that I've all the way through, I've just really wanted to keep my son engaged with like healthy food options and understanding where um his food comes from. I remember, I can't remember if it was my mum or someone telling me that they'd been in a school and they'd said about where does milk come from, and one of the kids said Tesco's, and I thought
Wow.
that's
Wow.
not going to be my kid.
Does that really
um
happen? My God.
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yes, but my wife works in a school. They don't know where carrots come from.
my brother, this is very genuine. I mean, he's going to hate me. I don't think he'll see this because he's not really on social media, so it's it's all good. But he would not eat the vegetables my mum grew in the garden because he was like, yeah, but they've been in dirt. And the conversation we had to have with him of, well, obviously because they're grown in the ground, and I mean, I can't even fathom how he didn't he had, bypassed, I don't know, that lesson in school, where they definitely must have covered plant growing and all sorts of stuff in
How
biology.
old
But
was he back 24,
No,
25?
yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a long time. He must have been. He must have been a teenager at the time when this was.
No way.
Yeah, and I just and so from like for my son, like we went through a difficult point where I think you with all kids you do where they become a little bit fussy, and growing our own stuff really has been a big thing. So the idea behind the quails was, you know, he gets to see that, oh, these birds lay these eggs, and they weren't going to take up too much space. But if I had more space, don't tell Adam, I would want a zoo. Just bypass the small holding, I'd have everything. So yeah, you never know. If we get there, then maybe one day you'll see a very happy me with quails everywhere.
And
So
well,
I'm presuming your allotment, you're allowed animals, you're allowed quails or chickens or whatever down there,
Yeah,
because there's lots that you're not, isn't there?
yeah. So we are allowed poultry and stuff down there, but I don't think I would. There's a couple of plots that have got them. They've got um quite big issues with rats
Uh,
and other things
right.
in, and so I don't think I would do that. Also, although my plot, I could probably walk to my plot in about 20 minutes. But I don't like the idea of having to, like, let's say the weather's particularly bad. I don't want to drive there and
Mm.
back all the time.
You need
So
to go there
I would,
every day. When
yeah,
you've got animals down there, you have to every day.
like winter, you know, when water freezes and stuff, you've got to be able to go down and sort that. So I'd have them at home. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
why the space has dictated that I go for quails rather than
Mm.
chickens. But by the time I reach 3,000 followers in a decade's time, I might have moved house. So I might have some chickens instead.
someone just wrote quails are really good for eating pests. I mean, if that's the case, especially slugs, then I think I'm on board of getting quails as well.
I did see, isn't it ducks? Don't ducks love eating?
Ducks
Yeah.
love slugs, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
But they like everything else as well. If you let them run through your plot, surely they're going to devastate it. Because I know my chickens do if they get in there.
Wasn't it on was it on River Cottage when he'd moved into the newer location. I think they
Yeah,
got ducks to deal with pests and they trampled on everything. So
exactly.
they put everything out and they'd just like ruined everything. So yeah, I think they would probably, if you had them up at the allotment, they'd damage what you were growing.
Definitely.
It's a shame.
Yeah, Indian runner ducks. Joe just said that. Yeah, they're the ones that stand upright, aren't they?
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they will damage everything else if they're running around. They're not gonna weave in and out of everything, are they?
No.
No.
Mm.
So what are you, third year now, Laura, in your allotment or second year?
Yeah, I think it's my third year. I came in my when I got my plot, it was in the middle of the growing season, so I was behind on that year. Then I had the next year where I fell pregnant. Then I've had a year of Everly. So yeah, three
Yeah,
three
yeah.
years.
Mm,
So not that long really. And yeah, and I've got the two plots. So I've got the tiny plot that nobody would take on that was next to my plot that used to just
yeah.
have, they used to bring people down, they'd look at it and they'd leave. Nobody wanted it. And I kept saying to them, can I take this plot on? Because it was just weeds. And I was like, all of the seeds from it,
Yeah.
from all the dandelions, are just blowing onto my, like I used to sit there and a gust of wind would come along and I'd see all these seed heads flying off. I just think, "Shouldn't have
Oh,
it."
it's horrible.
um, but yeah, so I've got the mini one next to me now. So yeah.
And you fenced all that off, haven't you? Isn't it a big fruit cage or something?
Yeah, so I bought a polytunnel, a really large polytunnel that was on sale, took the cover off, and then I used that
That's
as a frame for
right.
a fruit
That's
cage.
right.
I think I'm going to change. I've taken the cover off now for winter because there was some storm damage, not to the net, just to the ties that were holding it in place. So I've
Mm,
taken that down and I'm going to reattach it, but there's also a tunnel where I've done some trees down the side of it, and I'm going to just put it straight up and over the top, give me a bit more headroom, make it a bit easier to work with. So yeah, there's going to be some changes on that one, and then the original plot is now nearly fenced in, so that will help because we've got a really big problem with deer.
Yeah.
At our allotment, we've got a lot of housing development going on, so they're being driven out of obviously their natural habitat, and
Right.
it's bringing them more this way because there was a golf course and that's now been developed as a massive estate. So I think that's played a big part in the deer.
Yeah.
Like that.
So you're fencing your bit off, so they go to next door's plot instead of yours.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, Mark, how's your flooding on your plots?
I think it's gone down slightly. Over the weekend, it was all frozen. So if it's defrosted now, it's probably back being flooded again.
So
But
I,
that's your garden, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. It's massive.
it's the end of my garden. So we live on a row of cottages, and then from the back of the house to the end where my veg garden is 150 metres. And that's the bit that floods down that bottom end. And it's just rainwater that collects because it's a low point.
Okay.
Last year it flooded from October until March, and this year we've had it a lot later because it's only last week that it started to flood. So
Yeah.
slight improvement. Obviously, I've taken out all of the beds that were in the area that was flooded over the last year, and I'm going to raise that all up and put drainage in and all the rest of it. So hopefully it won't be as bad, but the beds will all be double height. So if
Yeah.
it does flood, it's not an issue anyway. So I'm just trying to be more resistant
Yeah.
because it's only going to get worse because the climate's getting worse.
Yeah.
So
have you had to adjust and choose and select the plants carefully to that area then?
yeah, definitely. That I'm definitely looking at plants that prefer to be wet and try and move anything that really doesn't like being wet to ground that I know for sure
What, like
won't get flooded.
lily pads, lotuses, like
Right.
that?
Oh.
Bless you, mate. Well, I hope it gets fixed up soon.
I'm hopeful this year is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
will.
think
They
everyone
deserve it.
is praying that this year's weather's going to be a good one.
The last year there was no summer, so
No,
yeah, it was just a rubbish.
that was
No.
awful. Absolutely awful, wasn't it? And then that topped off
Yeah.
with the bloody amount of slugs we had was just
Oh,
Oh. It's a really sore point.
that's it. Just
I know everybody's getting PTSD from the slugs infestation from 2024.
sorry, shouldn't have mentioned them.
Like plague, wasn't
Oh
it?
no.
Plague of blooming slugs.
It was horrendous. So,
Those
Shay,
12 days
you've
of
had
minus,
yours a couple of years. Sorry, mate. Go on.
I was going to say, 12 days of minus temperatures will have definitely killed some slug eggs, so it's got to be better this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the cold did play a big part because we didn't have necessarily the kind of temperatures we've had this year, and something that we struggled with at our allotment was ants. Like the
Oh, right.
amount of ants, and even I noticed them when my son used to go swimming at this leisure centre, and there were so many ants that they were digging out in between like the slabs that separate the pavement from the road,
No.
and all along there they dug out all of like the mortar, and there were just ants everywhere down here,
Wow.
and they just and I had potatoes in, and they'd actually tunneled through some potatoes. So yeah, it was not a good year
Mental.
last year.
No, it wasn't a good
So
year for anything really.
so how do you stop that? Is there anything you can do with ant infestation?
I mean,
Not really, 'cause
no,
so many of
I
them.
don't think so. I did speak to one of the allotment holders who'd been there a really long time, and me and him were just stood in silence, just staring at these ants, going, "Well, what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I can't even pick the potatoes up because they're biting." So
No way.
I was like, just gonna leave it. It was awful, and it was made worse actually. Any area that you covered, if you covered it with tarpaulin,
Yeah,
they
that's
seemed to
that.
favour that area, and it was horrible.
Laura, would you consider changing quails to woodpecker? Because apparently Norfolk law flowers have just suggested woodpeckers are great for them.
I would, yeah. Do they lay decent eggs?
Do they produce quail eggs? That was an idea.
We get a few woodpeckers round here actually. We've got I'd never seen them before, but they're green and they have a bit of red on the top of their head, I think. Yeah, we get
like on
them
the
Yes.
cider bottle.
like on
Well, precisely, green woodpeckers love them apparently.
But the thing is, Laura, if you get to the stage of having your zoo, you could have an anteater anyway.
an anteater. There we go, problem solved.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah, of
what I
course.
need.
Feed into the zoo.
I'll make headlines. Woman walks her anteater to allotment. I'm like a 3-point harness.
You could rent him out, couldn't you? To any of the neighbour allotments, any ants.
I'd be quids in.
Definitely.
It'd be an obese anteater with the amount that we had.
We
Poor thing.
didn't have any, to be honest. Touch word.
Really?
I can't remember seeing anything abnormal.
Really? Oh,
Not on the ant scale, no.
just down here then, just a Southampton problem.
We do our
Yeah, I mean the big problem being in London we have is fox, a lot of fox. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you leave anything out and about, for example, things like butternut squash, for some reason they love biting into it, spitting it out, and then just walking away. They're absolute trollers. Yeah, that's what they. That's the issue that we have.
Oh,
That's what they do with everything, though. That's that if they get into your chickens, that's what they'll do. They'll kill them and walk away, won't they? So maybe
Yeah,
that's what they do with everything. They'll kill their food and then come back later for it, maybe. But I know there's so many foxes in London, so many.
yeah, too many.
wow.
So what do you do with your butternut squash then?
What after the fox has eaten it?
Well, no, to stop the foxes getting it.
Right. Okay. I mean, to be honest, well, I think you can either. What I've learned in 4 years is you can either try to stop the animals or the pest, or you can actually just grow too many for them to consume. So I try to
All right.
do
Yeah.
the other, which is grow too many. So I'm hoping that if I grow like 12 butternut squash, six of them will get eaten or bitten, and six of them will be left. So that's
Oh, that's
my
good.
strategy.
Ah, good way of thinking.
survival of the fittest.
Should do that.
Yeah.
Should do that for the slugs as well. Then slugs and caterpillars, everything.
Every time you
Well,
sow seed, one for the slugs.
Yeah.
yeah, I have been trying that method as well, but I've now come to the realization I'm just actually feeding them and making them multiply. So I might stop that one.
Do
Yeah.
you both? I'm sure you probably do. Try and be as organic as possible. No chemicals, no sprays, no.
Yeah,
That's good news.
Yeah,
nothing artificial.
yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I kind of resonated with Laura earlier when she said about trying to teach Grayson about where food comes from and organic growing, and that was precisely the reason why I signed up for an allotment to be able to educate my kids, but to also bring produce home that I knew had been not touched by chemicals at all,
Yeah.
because whilst sometimes you've got no choice but to buy things from supermarket, but we don't really know where exactly that's come from, and I think you kind of take the risk, and we have no choice. But with the allotment, at least you have some sort of choice in that matter. But yes, absolutely, I don't try to use even for, although it's very tempting, isn't it, during when your plants and everything's like getting decimated by pests and slugs and everything like that. It's tempting to use what your neighbors are using because they say that it's the most effective thing, and then you kind of have to stick to your guns and stick to your principles
Yeah.
in that situation.
Yeah. I suppose that's the thing that maybe Mark and I we don't see because we don't on our plots. Mine's out there, mine's at home, so is Mark. So we
Mm,
don't have the neighbours using it. But I've seen lots of
mhm.
people on here where their allotment neighbours have been spraying, and it's gone with the wind across, and I think, oh, I just couldn't cope with it.
No, I mean, at my plot, I don't think you're allowed. It's in. I'm pretty sure it's in the terms of your lease. You're not allowed to use any weed killers and different things like that. In theirs, I was just going to say, Shay, Sissy's little garden has just said that they get foxes in their garden, and it's best to grow geraniums in between and lavender, and that will save your squashes from
Oh,
foxes.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's brilliant. I would never think to grow lavender to keep something away.
It's
I
just
don't know
obviously,
why, but
the smell of it, isn't it?
yeah, which is
Mm.
brilliant. Nice little
That's
remedy
really
for
good.
you.
Give it a try.
Chay's going to grow so much lavender now. It's going to be
Be a
ridiculous.
lavender field.
Yeah, but then you end up attracting another type of pest. But that's a really good idea. I mean, do the comments stay after the chat?
No,
They just
that's
Oh,
Oh,
that's
right.
that's the
Okay.
only downfall about it. There, once it's gone, it's gone.
that's.
Okay. I better note that
Mm.
somewhere then before I forget.
I'll send you a voice note.
well,
Thanks. Geranium.
geraniums and lavenders.
Geranium is the lavenders. Yeah, absolutely. So,
So, Shay,
so
I
guys,
think you must be on. You must be on about. This must be your fifth year now. Your allotment, is it? Fourth or fifth?
uh, fourth year. I
What
no.
now coming up?
Yes,
No.
fourth. Must be coming up to my fifth year now because I took it on in 2021. 2021, two, three. No,
Coming up
this
to.
is my coming up to the fourth year. Nah. Do you know what? This is where Instagram is beautiful because you can. Normally, I would have probably gone to Instagram and seen the first post,
Yeah,
and then
scroll right way
counted it.
back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's either four or three, but four or five. But I took it on in 2021, just shortly after sort of the pandemic, which was slightly annoying that I got it just after the pandemic. I could have done with it during it,
Ah, yeah.
but
Did you have to
yeah,
wait long for it?
I managed to beat the rush, or I call it the pandemic rush. So I waited 1 year for mine in London, and
Wow,
now I think the waiting list is 7 years or something like that on my plot. Um,
that's
and
unbelievable, isn't it?
that's a plot of 136. That's an allotment site of 136 plots as well, with a 7 year wait, which puts a perspective of how many people might be on the waiting list. A friend of mine joined it, and I think he was 70th. So goes to show. Um,
Unbelievable.
yeah, green space is very limited, and we are very urban city, obviously.
Mm.
And also, I have a garden. It's not really for organic growing. So, um, and I think the pandemic was the thing that really kind of highlighted to people how important open space at home can be, or an extended space as well.
Mm. You
Yeah.
still loving it as much then?
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some people on Instagram where they've said that they've given up because of the anxiety they feel because of the pressure of keeping it. You know, they have to maintain it and upkeep. And I think sometimes there is the allotment chairman or the committee who go around assessing if allotments have not been worked on, and they issue letters or warnings.
Yeah.
I haven't got to that stage because I do work on it, and I haven't had any anxiety of ever feeling like I have to give it up because, and I feel like I've been able to continue enjoying it during my most busiest period when I've had two small children below the age of 4, and I've still continued with it. So I think I've gone through the hard bits, and now I think I should be able to just enjoy it even more so. But yeah, absolutely, I'm still loving it, and I think I do a lot of things on my plot to change it up all the time, so at least it makes it interesting with naturally with the crop rotation, but also changing up the structure and the layout here and there, and adding a little bit more entertainment areas as well.
Mm. Yeah, I can remember. hearing you talk about a few times that you quite regularly go down there and have barbecues and bits of a party type thing. That sounds really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we've done Easter egg hunt up there, and it's just my son and his kids and the dads as well go up there, have a beer and with a fire pit. It's actually quite nice.
Mm.
Um, I, I had this corny, cheesy saying that the allotment is not just for growing vegetables and fruits, but it's also for growing memories. Um,
Brilliant.
so yeah.
That's not
Um,
cheesy at all.
well, I've just said that, and two people have now dropped off, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Oh no, they've come back. Yeah.
So I
So
guess last year I think you planted some trees. Are you
yes,
hoping
I
for
did.
lots of apples and pears this year?
Well, there was no, not really. Well, I mean, definitely apples. I've got some James Green variety that's on its fifth year now, and last year it produced 12 apples, and this year I'm hoping it should produce double the amount. But I think I saw online there was four fruit trees for 20 quid. So I purchased it, and out of the four, only one is still surviving, the plum. The other three died.
Oh
So
no.
essentially, I paid 20 quid for one. But I guess that's the only problem with purchasing fruit trees online, isn't it? Because they come back in, they get delivered to you just in a route, and I don't know what the transportation was like. And I think, unfortunately, that during the transportation, he just died, even though he had all these like gel packs and hydrant packs, but he just unfortunately didn't
Oh,
survive.
that's
So
a
yeah,
shame.
hoping for some plums, maybe. I'm not too sure. Yeah, but I will go and purchase some more fruit trees. I think I might go to a garden centre and get it this time.
You can see what you're getting then, I suppose, can't you? And that's it. It's down to you. It's not down to anybody else. If you
This is
kill them
it.
on.
But honestly, the power of advertising and email promotion is so good, isn't it? Because you get the emails with this lavish looking apricot tree with bumper crops, and then it says £5 for this tree, and you're like, yes, this is me. And you think you're going to get that, but what you get is a is a pencil. Um, and yeah, but my plum tree is still going strong, and I got given for my birthday a fig tree as well. So I'm hoping
Oh, nice.
what I'm trying to create is essentially a plot that produces without minimal work and
Yeah.
effort continuously. So, and because it is a lot of time and effort, isn't it? When if you have to continuously every year grow something or plant something to grow, um, whereas if you can harvest lots of fruits, berries, vegetables, that's gives an abundance of that on a yearly basis with minimal effort. I think that's living the dream.
So that's mainly trees and bushes and things. But what about perennial veg? Have you thought about getting any perennial veg in?
I have thought about it, and I have just left it at the thinking stage. Yeah. No, I haven't really got explored it that too much. I mean, I've got a lot of herbs in terms of perennial stuff, but not fruit. What would you suggest is a good
I was going to
vegetable
say
that
to
continuously give?
Mark, because I guess in Lucy's book, I'm guessing she's named lots of perennial veg in that book. This what you've just read, Mark, hasn't she?
There's a lot in that. Yeah, there's loads of ideas, and not just perennial veg. There's a lot of sort of shrubby type things that you wouldn't have initially thought would be edible, or even that you've even ever heard of. I mean, I've been a gardener for 25 years, and some of the stuff in Lucy's book I've never even heard of. So they're brilliant ideas that you can plant, and they're there year after year after year. So I think
Okay.
veg gardening can be a lot easier than what you think it is. I think you can take a lot of pressure off by making like a structure of perennials and woody shrub things in your veg garden, and then just filling that in with different
Yeah.
annual stuff every year.
Yeah.
And I think you can have a really productive garden, because Lucy's veg garden is amazing, and she gets so much produce from it. She's just an inspiration to for what to aim for.
So
Yeah.
Shay, is it time? Do you think that you're lacking, maybe that you don't want to, because you want to put all these things in which just every year come back up? Because like I like going out there and weeding and raking and sowing the seeds and things. I actually enjoy that. It seems like you want it there, so next year it comes back next, so you can just go and enjoy it and
Yeah.
eat it. And
Well, I think I've sort of created a problem for myself when I set up the structure of my plot. So conventional plot, let's say an allotment plot, is normally a raised sleeper bed. It's systematically done like that.
yeah,
Whereas mine is just one massive big bed that surrounds two herb herb planters. And my focus in the last year or so has been trying to fill that all that area up with fruit trees and perennials. And my aim in the future is hopefully that the space will be more covered, so I don't really feel the need and the pressure to actually cover all the areas with continuous planting on a yearly basis. So that's my aim. So I think the problem I've created is that I've made one massive bed, and during the winter period, it's absolutely just bare. There's nothing there, and it makes it even more evident that there's nothing there because it's only one bed.
Yeah.
yeah. I think most of us ain't got a lot out in the plot at the minute. I've got
Mm,
there's still some parsnips and carrots and celeriac and that, but the rest of it's just I've just mulched it and left it for now.
mm,
So yeah, I think majority of people are going to be like that at the moment.
I think being able to go up there, if you've got things that are established and you can go in, you can just enjoy them, pick them, prune them as you need to. I think there is
Mm,
like an element of that is very appealing, especially with like young children. If I go to the allotment in the summer and I've had the kids in the daytime, it's too hot to take them up there,
mm.
then my evenings are me going down to the allotment at 8, 9 o'clock at night to go and do some weeding and watering. So I think like I completely understand Shay's you know preference on that. I've at the moment I've just changed the entire layout of my first plot because it wasn't working. The pathways were too narrow, and this year I really want to focus on making the allotment as easy as possible for me, so that for the next 2 years while Everly's little, I can grow as much as I can for as little effort as possible. I'm saying that loosely because obviously there's never little effort, but so I've switched. I'm doing no dig. I've got rid of the stone paths because I was having to weed in between the stones, because
Yeah.
you do drop soil, you do have seeds that self sow down in cracks and crevices. And I've gone back to just a grass centered path that goes up the middle, because it's so much easier for me to go up there with a lawnmower and a strimmer than it is for me to go along the stone beds and sit there picking out all the weeds and stuff. And I kind of want to reduce my actual growing area down just for a couple of years by growing much, much less and just making it easier.
Mhm.
And my plan each year is going to be to cover over and essentially start again each year with almost a no dig, um, just to suppress weeds and just keep suppressing it basically and just hope for the best. But I have made a mistake. I bought some spinach from She Grows Veg, a purple variety. And after getting it and then getting home and reading the back of the packet, I've seen that it self seeds itself everywhere. So I'm not sure I'm gonna put that one in now. Um,
Have a
so
bed.
I've, yeah, I've got the seed. Hang on, I've got the packet here somewhere.
Bit tree spinach.
No, you ready?
Oh wow.
oh
Yeah,
wow, that's impressive.
I was
Mm.
lured in by the beautiful colour of it, but it
Surely that'll only self seed if it gets to flowering stage though and goes to seed.
growing instructions at the bottom. This crop will self-seed everywhere. First sentence. I don't know if you can see that just here. Can you see? I'll tag you
Oh
guys. I'll
dear.
take a photo. I'll put it on the story. I literally sat down and looked at it and went, "What?" So it says, it carries on. It says, "So remove seed heads, store and use to grow an abundance of nutrient-dense microgreens in winter."
Exactly. So if you get the seed heads off before they start sowing, you'll be all
If
right.
not, I'm going to have a very, very purple plot.
Some serious pressure there to
But
keep on top of it.
I think we've
Yeah.
all got something like that. Oh, so I've got a bed. Joe's going to rip me now. Norfolk Blue Door flowers because she told me 2 years ago not to put borage in, and I did it, and it just keeps coming back, and thicker and thicker and thicker. You can't do nothing with it. But
No.
we've all got things like that. I pull it out by the handful, and then 2 weeks later, the whole thing's covered again.
I've got a leek bed where I pull out the leeks that I want as and when I want them, and then I leave them to go to flower, and then they self-seed, which
Yeah,
has been great. So I've not actually had to plant more leeks; they're just doing it themselves. Apart
brilliant.
from randomly where I go along and I'm like, "Why is there a leek here?" And obviously, it's just another one that's come up. But they've not been too bad. But this red spinach or purple spinach, it's got me a bit concerned. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with
Mm.
that one.
Yeah, that told you. Borage is hideous. I just want to talk about your tomato fascination, Shay.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah,
um, Last year or the year before, I can't quite remember. I think it might have been last year. Did you had something like 30 plants of the same variety? Of,
yeah, yeah. Uh, Gardener's delight it
that's
was.
it.
So
Garden stuff.
I hate wasting things, and you know the seed packet always comes with 100 seeds. So I always grow 100 of whatever it creates, and then of course it majority of it germinated. And again, this is it's survival of the fittest. So this is where people seem to be quite brutal with it, but I can't let go of any of the seedlings or any germinated plants, regardless of how weak and feeble they look. So I pot every single one, and then I decided to put it on the allotment. And yeah, I think it was 36 Gardener's Delight tomato plants. Um, it was ridiculous, to be honest. And even like I was getting lots of people from my allotment plots. Are you trying to? Do you have a shop? I said no. I'm just growing it. And I said, please help yourself. Honestly, I don't. No one person needs. I think I was at one stage when I went to collect all the harvest. I had 2 wheelbarrows of tomatoes in 1 week.
In 1 week.
Um, yeah, it was just ridiculous.
What did you do with them?
Well, some went in the compost bins, the ones that I just couldn't give away or take home. I made a lot of chutneys. I dropped off to neighbors. It basically became my courgette or the marrow, where you can try to give it to anybody who's willing to take it. And then eventually I started having to turn it into mulch, tomato mulch, and or put it into beds, or my compost bin.
Oh my
But
gosh. That's
Amazing.
yeah,
So, what's your tomato plan for this year then?
do exactly the same. I don't like wasting it. Or what I might do this time is actually just grow 10 tomato plants and then perhaps give the tomato plants away to other people
do,
rather than just plant it on.
do you not have at my allotment? We've got a plant swap bin. So we've got a massive pallet that's set up, and if you have
Mm,
surplus plants, you put them in the plant swap, and there might be something else that you can take, or there may not be anything in there for you to take, and you just think, "I've got to get rid of these," and then other people, if they've not grown them, they can go over and take them. So that's usually
It's a
what
good
I do if
idea.
I've
yeah,
got surplus, put them in there.
that is amazing. I think I think we were chatting about this the other day. Laura's allotment community is incredible, absolutely incredible. I've never heard of it. Like, they go to pubs together, they do plant swaps, barbecues, all sorts. And mine, despite it having 136 plots, I've never been to any of the events apart from one consultation meeting they had because they were planning to put a road through it. That's the only thing I've been to in the last 4 years and organised. So yeah, I think the plant swap table might be stretching it on our plot.
Oh,
But who knows? I think what I'll do is give it to my allotment neighbours, the extra plants this time.
good
You
idea.
should just go and plant them in people's plots one evening, and
Like
nobody
some
will know
guerrilla
where they come
gardening,
from.
yeah. Go
Yeah,
randomly plant.
They'll
Yeah,
be
it might
ready.
be quite obvious when I've got 10 of them and they've got sporadic,
yeah,
the same variety popping up.
I'll never forget one year my father-in-law came round and he'd sown, this was my first year, he'd sown leeks, and he showed up with his tray and he's like, oh, I've got this for you. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Is it chive? He was like, no, it's leeks. It looked like grass.
yeah,
I was like, what's this for? He's like, oh, it's for your allotment. He'd taken out like maybe that sort of size chunk. The tray was like this, and
mm,
it looked like grass. He was like, "Yeah, it's for your allotment." I had so many. I couldn't give. I put them in the plant swap bin, but they were so young. I was like, "Can people come and take these because they're going to shrivel up and die because there's so many in such a small space." But they did all go. Probably, I think we gave the entire allotment community leeks that year because he'd done about 1,000 seeds in one tray. I think.
yeah. There's an old boy around the corner who, from me, he brought me a tray of leeks, exactly the same, about 2 or 3 years ago, just like grass flopping around. And he tore his little piece off of about 30 and left, give me the rest of them. You can't say no, can you?
No. But you can't turn around and go, I'll just take my section, then you can deal with the rest of them. Just let's do
Yeah,
them.
I'll just have a few of them and take the rest back.
Yeah, I'll take that bit there.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, I
Right,
noticed
things
that
to
we've got a
grow.
new member.
Go
We've got
on, mate,
a new
sorry.
member join. I noticed that we've got a new member join the chat.
Yeah, this is Dash.
Dash.
He's the noisy one that you can usually hear
Oh,
during the recordings. Actually,
Dash,
being quite
what a brilliant name.
Dash
And
the
how old is
Dash from
Dash?
3.
Oh wow. Wow.
young then.
Yeah, he was a sort of towards the end of lockdown dog because our son, despite us having a dog already, we've got an older dog. During lockdown, our son got really scared of dogs. Like whenever we went
Yeah.
out for a walk, if there was a dog, he'd be petrified of it. So we decided to get him a dog that was his own and was a puppy, so that he could get used to having a dog, like a new dog around, and that it worked so well. So this is George's dog, really.
Oh,
But yeah, he was a, it must have been middle of lockdown dog that we got.
oh,
Oh
bless.
wow. Oh nice.
Oh, lovely.
So, although I must say that you look like a James Bond villain right now. You
It's not a big white fluffy
Yeah.
cat.
No.
So it's
Yeah.
9 o'clock, guys. We normally try and end about this time, although we could keep going on and on, I think. Mark,
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having both Laura and I on the show.
hold
It's
on,
been
hold on.
incredible.
Finish. Not finished. Not
Oh
finished yet. Mark's got
wow.
a quick fire round.
Time for the lightning
Questions.
round.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay. I hope it's not
Nervous.
garden related quiz because I'm going to do terrible at this. Okay. It
Definitely.
is, isn't
General
it?
knowledge. Pub quiz.
Oh, Christ. Oh, crikey. Okay. I've got sweaty palms.
So each answer your own answers. First thing that comes to mind. The first one's really easy. Laura doesn't even have to think about this first question.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh
the
no.
first question is tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee, both of you well matched.
I'm not allowed coffee at the moment. I just like to tell you because it makes my heart race too
Oh
much.
no.
I
So
would
I'm off
say
coffee.
decaf, but don't do that.
No, I don't know.
Question number 2, flowers or edibles?
Edible.
Edibles.
Does Laura say flowers?
No, edibles.
Oh,
Right.
right, okay.
I was going to say.
I mean, on some technicalities, some edibles are flowers. So
Yeah, you
maybe I'm just.
Yeah.
can get that on a technicality. Next question: beach or forest?
Ooh, I'll go with beach.
I'll go forest.
Controversial.
Nice. Yeah.
Opposite.
That's good.
What would your go-to emoji be on a text message?
The eyes that are
Oh,
looking sideways.
so my was this. You know that one that does that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I just thought it was people like raising their hands saying yippee yippee yee, but it's actually a love heart, which makes me like it even more now. Um, I'll put it in the comment chat just in case people have no idea what I'm talking about.
But Laura, you can't have one because you can't have emojis on a voice note.
Oh, don't worry. I'm Shay will vouch for me. I'm very good with emojis and gifs.
Gifts.
next one. If you could only have one snack for the rest of your lives, what would it be?
Oof.
Oh my god.
I'm going to ask a question whether this is a snack. Um, pot noodle Bombay Bad Boy. Is that a snack?
You can have it.
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
so that's mine. Pot noodle Bombay Bad Boy.
I've just realised I don't snack. um maybe hummus. Hummus and vegetables.
Very healthy.
Yeah.
She's
I think
Wow.
put
Okay.
shame,
I mean,
shame there.
yeah, I
they're sorry, Shay. No, I'm gonna change it. Let me change it. I'm gonna go for cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah, yeah, cheese.
That's better.
know. What type? What type?
All the cheese.
All the cheese.
Cheese balls.
Can't beat cheese. Cheese is king.
Yeah.
Cheese is cheese.
The thing is, cheese normally ends up turning into a dinner. So when you were saying snack, I was thinking, God, I don't snack. No, it's because it's just a big snack,
Mm.
basically.
Yeah. Cheese, cheese and crackers and everything to go with it. Oh, just
Yeah,
the best.
bit of pork.
Mm.
Oh my god.
Nice. Finish the sentence. My perfect day would be.
Winning the lottery.
Oh yeah.
Like it.
Uh, my perfect day would be seeing Arsenal win the Premier League.
I
Oh,
He's
just
got a
knew. I
football
knew it.
question
He's
there.
got all the way through. He's done an hour and a half about mentioning him, and then he had to drop it in.
Shay must
I, I,
really.
I feel like Mark set me up for that one. I think he knew my answer was going to be that.
Mark's just like this then. So although I'm from Southampton, obviously I grew up here, so I am a Saints fan. My husband's a Spurs fan, and so is my son. So when I told my son that I did this podcast with Shay, I said, "Yeah, there's one problem though. He's an Arsenal fan." His face just went, "Ugh,"
Ugh.
he walked off.
Don't do that, Mum.
Yeah, so he's not a big fan of Shay's football team, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't really want to talk about football right now. I mean, we're going through a bit of a bad patch. But tomorrow evening could be a good patch, depending on the result.
Fingers crossed for it.
Top,
Is
thank
it
you.
top?
Tottenham are playing Arsenal.
Oh,
Oh,
it's on.
oh.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you'll probably win. We're not doing great either.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you do beat teams like Man City 4-0, so it depends on what Tottenham turns up.
Yeah, true.
Moving on.
Sorry.
Sowing seeds or potting on?
Sowing seeds.
Sorry, say that again. So yeah, sowing seeds.
Good choice. Spring or summer?
Summer.
No.
Summer. Wow.
Yeah,
Spring. It's very rare we get summers, isn't it?
A lot of people say
yeah.
spring.
Yeah. I mean, I can't choose beach and then go for spring.
No, the beach isn't good in spring.
What is today's favourite plant?
Purple
Uh,
spinach.
I mean, I'm going to say tomato,
Yeah.
surprisingly for you guys. Yeah, I'll go with tomato, my favorite plant.
Same as mine.
I don't know. Favorite plant.
Trombontina.
Does it have to be edible?
No?
No.
Can be
No?
You're going to go with
I'm,
cheese, aren't you, again?
no. Yeah,
Cheese plant.
the cheese plant. Yeah, I bought the beef and onion tree, but it's not going to be that today. I will go verbena. I've got a real thing about verbena at the moment. So
Mm.
Nice. Unlimited compost or unlimited seed?
I think unlimited compost.
compost.
Yeah.
That's normally the winner.
If you could have a gardening superpower, what would it be?
Um, the ability to eradicate slug at sight. I think that,
That's a good one.
yeah. I just look at them and they just disappear.
Why?
Yeah, no idea where they go, but they just disappear.
Why just on site? Why not just
Gone.
anywhere you touched, no slugs?
Like
That's
a
a good
really
one.
rubbish version of Midas. What you mean? Like you touch them and they just go.
I would like the ability to make my plants blight resistant.
Nice.
Actually, can I change my? I
Have
just
you had
thought of
blight
something
problems?
probably.
Yeah, I've had it. Each year it's been different. I had one year. I had tomatoes had blight. They went from being the most incredible looking tomatoes to like completely rotted within 48 hours.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was
Worse.
it was honestly, I'd gone up, I'd taken video footage of it for Instagram, as
Mm.
you do. And the next time I drove round and parked next to my plot, and as I just knew I could see it, like it was really bad. So I've had that,
Don't
and I
take
have
long.
had blight with potatoes on other years
Same
as
thing.
well. So yeah,
But
it's
you
like
have your tomatoes in your greenhouse this year, maybe, so you got less chance of getting your blight.
yes, that's the plan.
Mm.
It'll be potatoes
Mm.
this year then.
Yeah.
Go on then, Shay. What's yours?
I think I think I changed mine to the ability to bring back dead plants back
Oh,
to life at a
brilliant.
touch. At a touch.
That's a great.
Nice.
And the
That'd be a
final
good one.
one, if you could choose one plant to describe yourself, what would it be?
Oh,
Crikey,
I always
that's a really
say
good
it,
one.
but Abe Sellers said it was a tromboncino.
Mm.
And he didn't explain why, so
He
we're going
didn't know.
to that.
oh my goodness.
I'll probably go with lavender. Hardy, comes back every year, and quite handy and
Smells
useful.
delicious.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll go with that.
That's a good one. I will go with roses because maybe I'm a bit of a spiky person.
Oh.
Especially before the coffee in the morning.
Exactly. That's what the coffee's for, to tame me.
Mm. This quiz is like still a black blind date, isn't it?
Yeah.
The quiz theme, yeah, I love it. It's great.
Your
Laura, I guess
husband's
that's your
asking
husband.
questions.
What's the
Huh?
message plant? Your husband's coming.
Oh, he's a
What?
love
Come on, answer his
him.
question.
It's called a Laura. I'm one of those people where I can do really, really creative stuff. If I have to tidy anything away, I have to pull the entire cupboard out to put it all back properly because I can't just put it in with the rest of the stuff that's scruffy, and so I end up making the situation worse. So,
Oh dear.
yeah, it's not what he didn't marry me for my organisational skills, unfortunately. So. And he also hates anything and everything to do with gardening. So that's
Come on, I've seen him down on the plot with you doing stuff.
yeah, only because he's been emotionally blackmailed to get down there. Poor guy. No, he's good.
Mark and Jamie, can I ask what plant you chose that closely represents yourselves?
We don't have
We
to
haven't
answer the questions.
done it.
Oh.
I tell you what,
Oh,
when we get to 100,
Yeah.
you can come on and ask us the lightning round questions and we'll answer them.
Sounds great.
okay.
Would you
Fantastic.
hope
That's a
hates
promise.
it as well?
We'll turn the tables on ourselves.
Yeah. And I'm gonna drop you guys in it. Are you coming to the press event?
I'm not.
You're not. Oh,
I very much doubt it. I don't
you've
think
got an
I'll
excuse.
I'll be fit enough.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say
only
you're.
what is it? 4 weeks away? I don't know. I doubt it.
I'm
Oh.
away. We're on holiday because it's half term.
Well, that's nice. Enjoy.
But I did.
So I
I
guess
did
you
wish
two
I
are
could
going.
Yeah, we will be there. I was hoping I
Yeah.
was going to keep an eye out for your hat.
The beacon.
Beacon.
Right, 9:15.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Really
ever so
nice
much.
to
It's been
speak to you
really,
guys.
really good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Everybody who's
Take care.
watching, go and listen to the Allotment Diaries podcast.
And give Laura a follow because she needs to get to 3,000.
3,000. So she
Yeah,
can get a quails.
yeah, everyone start tagging my husband in annoying posts about the quails. Just a little bit of Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Thank you very much. It's so lovely. All right. Take care.
Ta-ra. Nice to see you.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. I knew it was going to be a giggle. Really did.
Nice to actually see Chay on Instagram because he's quite a. He doesn't tend to be on it, does he?
No,
yeah, but
no.
I followed him for, you know, like you said, you've been listening to the Allotment Diaries from day one. So
Yeah. It's really good. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I haven't listened to Mel's one yet, but I'll might be tomorrow.
Yeah, that was a good one. Always good. Nice to listen to Mel. Very
Yeah, I like
passionate
that.
guy.
Yeah. Right, mister. Thanks ever so much.
Thanks everyone for
See you
watching.
next week. Thanks everybody.
And we'll be back next week with another guest.
See you later.
I can't get mine to do that. Only yours. Bye.
Ta-da!
Thank you for listening to Through the Garden Gate.